Hi guys, Scott again, and welcome back to another video. Now, before we go into it, as always, thank you for tuning into this one, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you're coming back as a subscriber, thank you for tuning in again. Now, today, as you can see by the title of the video, I wanted to talk to you about what it's like daily driving a Focus RS. So, those of you who have stayed with the channel for a while, you know that I've had this car for about a year now, and up until very recently, I used my MK3 Focus RS as my daily driver, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity after having it for around a year to talk to you about the nuances of living with it every day and sort of the good things and the bad things about it and what it's actually like to drive. So yeah, up until recently I used this car as my daily driver with the Volvo, obviously, I bought in, I've shown recent videos, now taken over as my more daily driver, and I use this for a bit of weekend fun and sort of, yeah. It just seemed a bit pointless putting all the miles on it, in my opinion, when I've got a Volvo to do that now. So, but don't take that as me saying it's not a good daily driver. I absolutely love this thing, and I love driving it, and this thing is so easy, surprisingly, like to live with every single day. There's a few bits which I would change, which obviously I'm going to tell you in this video, and a few bits which surprised me on just how easy it is to get on with. So while I'm here on the outside of the car, I thought I'd get down to the, obviously staring me right in the face, the massive exhaust tips. Now, surprisingly, it's not as loud as you would expect from the size of the tips. Like, it makes a nice noise, and yeah, it is loud, but if you want to and need to keep it quiet and a bit inconspicuous, it's not the loud, like, it's not always loud. You can drive it quite sensibly and not always have a full barrel of noise coming out of it. So I thought the best way to talk to you about what it is like to live as a daily driver is to actually take it for a drive. So I'm going to put the camera up on the same place I did in my last video with the Volvo and take it for a quick little drive and talk to you about what it's like, and yeah, the good bits, the bad bits. But first, I think we'll go around the cabin and just talk about some of the tech which makes it pretty good for a sort of everyday driver. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk to you while we're in here talk about the interior features are the shell seats. Obviously, these are the optional extra shell seats. Now, they're not the standard ones, although I have had and been in cars with the standard thick Recaros that they have in them. So I do have some experience with them and some of these, and in my opinion, these ones are the better choice, not only for the looks, but they're a lot less bulky. Obviously, you don't get them heated and you can't adjust them as much. But those standard RS or like standard ST Recaros that you get in them are really quite thick and bulky, and it sort of limits on the room in the back for if you're having passengers. Whereas these are quite thin and compact, so it doesn't impede too much on the legroom like the other seats, because they're both hard back seats, so there's not a lot of give in them if you sat in the back. Although the main drawback with having these Recaros that you have to live with every day is the shell seats. You can't adjust them. Like, well, you can move them forwards and backwards, and you can adjust the canter of the back and the angle you're sitting at, but you can't raise or lower them. Now, obviously, there are ways to do this. You can get the lowering kits, which I've looked into. I just haven't got around to getting any of yet, and I've lived with it being as high as it is. Now, when I looked at the car and did my research before buying it, I did see in quite a few places that the seat height is known to be quite high. So if I sit up, I am pretty close to the roof, and obviously I can't change that, but I've sort of learned to live with it, and it's not too bad. It's only noticeable when you go from another car and then into this, you realise just how high up you are. So I am definitely going to look at getting the lowering kit for the seat, because the seat height doesn't sort of, yeah, it's not right. It's really high, but you can live with it. It's not the end of the world, but it's just something that will make it a bit better driving it every day, is if you're not feeling like you're in an SUV. But when I looked at them, when I thought about it, because obviously it was going to be my daily driver, I sort of was a bit unsure of how well these shell seats would get on for long drives. But surprisingly enough, I've driven sort of 3-4 hours without having to get out too much, or like have many breaks. And they're not too bad. I thought they'd get uncomfortable after a while, but they're surprisingly comfortable to live with. The only thing is you get used to it as a driver, getting in and out of them, because the seats, these side bolsters are quite rigid. You get used to them and you get in and out quite easily when you know what it's like and it's your car. But passengers, every time I take passengers, no matter what happens, I always say, yeah, the seats are awkward, get in and out, like the sides are really rigid, so be careful, sort of thing. And everyone sits in and sits on the side of the seat and goes, ow. Yeah, and then all I can think in my mind is, yeah, that's killing my seat. So they do develop a bit of wear over time, so seat covers are a definite. Other than that, that's the main thing that I was going to talk about the interior wise, is the seats can be a bit awkward. If that's the only drawback of the car, it's really not that bad, is it? No. Because at the end of the day, it is really just a Ford Focus, so everything is just really quite easy to get on with. Like, everything's just sort of really simple and easy to use. Just at the end of the day, it is just the standard Ford Focus. You get all your cruise control, speed limiters, which just make it easier for daily driving, but that's sort of as you would expect. It's just quite standard Ford Focus. So when you're not actually booting the car too much, it is just a Ford Focus, so you can live with it just really easily, and you don't actually feel like it's anything different. Well, obviously you know it is, but it's just like driving a normal hatchback. So we're going to take you for a drive now and go into a bit more of what it's like actually driving with this. Right. So I absolutely love the pops that come out of it. It just makes a nice noise. So the steering is really actually light and easy to get on with. After driving the Volvo I'm not used to this gearbox at all. It's mad the difference in a car like this steering and a car like that. Obviously it's a 25-year-old car and this is only 6. You would expect it, but it's just got such a nice comfortable feel. It's not too taxing, it's just very easy. Like, you can just, and because it's the RS, it just sticks, and in corners you've just got so much grip. Yeah, it's just such an engaging car to drive, and it makes that daily commute a little bit better. Because of the power and the 4-wheel drive, it's not hard to put it down, so you can quite easily make those gaps on the roundabout or at junctions, yeah, where you wouldn't in a normal car, because it's silly quick. Like, it's, yeah, after going from the Volvo back to this, it gives me an appreciation of just how much power this has. Obviously compared to that, and the brakes on this compared to even like driving work cars and then going back into this, the brakes are unreal. Like, they can stop you so quickly. It's probably saved me on a fair few occasions, because there are people like to do all sorts of weird and wacky things these days, stopping them. It's just nice to know you've got this very powerful braking power safety net. But I think the main thing that everyone's going to want to know as a daily driver is, yeah, especially at the moment with the rise in fuel prices, is fuel. And it's not as bad as you would think, but it's not great compared to a diesel or a petrol, like, of a smaller capacity, obviously. But you don't buy this for MPG, you buy it more for, as everyone says, the smiles per gallon, and this gives plenty of smiles per gallon. It's never a dull moment with this. Like, I enjoy every time I drive it. As I said, at the moment, fuel consumption is going to be high on everyone's priorities of when they're looking to daily this car. I've given it before in the when I put about the sort of honest running costs and how much it cost me to run the car, and it hasn't really changed. Obviously price of fuel's gone up, but my trip computer still reckons I'm getting 21.6 mpg, which sounds pretty bad, but no matter how many times I reset the trip, it always seems to start at 21, which is a bit weird for this, and it doesn't seem to alter too much. But obviously, out of interest, each time I fill it up, I work, like, obviously I reset the trip, which you can do, and then keep track of the miles I do, and then work out with the litres I put in at the petrol station. And I've worked it out to pretty much on my daily drives I can get, without restraining in too much and still being able to open up and have a bit of fun, I've managed to get about 29, 30 mpg quite easily. Isn't that bad? Like that Volvo I'm now using does pretty similar. That gets 29 mpg, and at the end of the day, you have so much fun driving this, it's worth it. So as I did in the last video, when I drove the Volvo, I'm going to go up Fish Hill again, just so you can get some sort of idea of the grip this thing has, and also just to see how it comes out on camera, because I want to try and some mountain places, as I said in the last video, for when I take this on track, because I'm planning on doing some track days quite soon, and I just want to work out where I'm going to put the cameras to try and give some good videos of that. As per all my videos, if you have any questions, comments you want to know, feel free, ask me. I try to answer pretty much every comment I get on my videos. I'm active on there, I'm active on Instagram. Just shoot me a message on either, my username's the same, and I'll try and give you the best insight possible. I'm gonna have to turn the aircon on because I'm starting to look like I'm dogging. Obviously, if you want to overtake, you're going to shift down a few gears, get some noise out the back, but when you don't have to and can't, it's just quite nice and calm to drive about. The main thing I haven't spoke about yet has to be, obviously, the grip and the tyres, but it handles better than I think any car I've ever driven, and it blows my mind when you do it, but it does have its drawbacks, and the ride can be very stiff, like especially I've noticed more since I put the P4S's on fresh, like just over a month ago now. Since then it's made it a bit stiffer, because I think before then I had Pilot Super Sports, and then obviously we've gone to the Pilot Sport 4S's, and they seem a bit, like you feel every bump a lot more. So you'll be going over potholes and you'll be like this, and especially because of the size of the rim and the sort of profile of the tyre, if you're going along, like I find it through my local town, there's some of the roads where the potholes are a bit worse. If it catches it right, it just starts sort of drawing you to one side. So it can be a bit annoying to live with if you're just trying to have a nice, calm, comfortable drive. Sometimes you get that ruined by the shaking because of the tyres and everything. We're gonna stop. I'll take her up Fish Hill, and one of the many reasons I love this road is just because you can, because of the corners, it's just so fun. Obviously being a hill and going up a corner, it's just, you've got a whole lot of things playing into it, and it sort of brings the car into its own. Along with taking this down some back roads, you just sort of learn what this car was made for, and you forget all the other things. Like suddenly it's not so bad, like you don't really have to do it too much, and then you're going around here and you're thinking you should be going on the other side of the road, but you still got more to give, and you put your foot down and it just grips, like it just leans into the corner and just goes, like, and you can quite easily, because of how well it corners, safely enjoy a corner without breaking the speed limit. Sure what's gone on with this car here. He's had a few troubles. It's got no number plate, absolutely dented, and missing his left wing mirror. I'd done half shift this and make a nice noise like And then when you get a bit of sun and a nice road, you understand what the car's all about. And if your daily drive looks like this 100%, why would you want to do it in anything else? So as always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, please think about subscribing if you aren't already. Like, comment, let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over and I will try and answer them. But I hope this video helped you, you enjoyed it, gave you a bit of an insight. If not, anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.